Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ask Us Anything. It's Sunday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, wherever you are. We are glad to have you with us, and lots of you waiting already. And isn't that always fun to come online and see a bunch of you there? Hey, we want to say, first off, thank you to a brand new supporter. Daktari Ed became one of our YouTube members, our special YouTube members. He hit that join button on YouTube. And thank you, Daktari Ed. We sure appreciate that. We've got a bunch of you in there. We also have a super chat from Shirley Benoit, a $4.99 super chat. Thank you, Shirley. She says hello to everybody. Have a great chat. She's headed to Indiana at 5:30 tomorrow morning. Ooh. That's early in the morning there, Shirley. And thank you. Shirley is also one of our supporters. Shirley is a supporter on our Facebook page. So thank you. She hit that join button there, and we appreciate you guys all being supporters and stuff. We always like to do the very first question or comment, and that's from our friends Davis, Tandy, and Buster. Really enjoyed. I'm going to see if I can read it. Can you read that better than I can?
Really enjoyed your best of RV lifestyle video. You should follow up with biggest challenges in contrast.
That is a great idea.
That is a good idea.
Hey, I think we owe Davis, Tandy, and Buster a thank you too, because we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. I think you guys are the ones who told me about the smoke detector. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm sure it was you guys. Remember, we had a smoke detector. Jen was cooking bacon in one of our trips a couple of weeks ago, and it went off. Just a couple. You weren't cooking that much bacon.
I was making 4 small strips of bacon, and I set off the smoke detector.
And noisy, you know, so to take it, you had to like take it apart. The battery was really in there, and to cram it out. And anyway, I mentioned that, and I know it was Davis, Tandy, and Buster that sent me a note about a new smoke detector I could replace. And it has a little latch that we did, and you push that button.
And I love that smoke detector. I'd like you to put those in the house too.
You push the button, and what happens?
The battery disengages.
So it
drops
stops
down,
the beeping,
and it stops that noise. Yep. And it's easy to put it back together again. You don't have to worry about breaking something.
So Davis, I'm sure it was you guys, but if it wasn't, let us know. And I know who it was. It was Tom in Louisville, but I think it was you that did that. Road Trip Buddy, second post. Hello, Mike and Jen. Thank you. You're the second on there, so you're usually first, but you know, I understand things get crazy out there. So you're number 2 in there, and we appreciate it. First question of the night. And I want you to notice what Potter Pup did. He made it all in caps. Is it the journey or the end destination? And he asks some more there too.
Do you tend to camp where you want to explore, or do you break camp to travel elsewhere?
Well, I'll answer the first part. You can answer the second. I think the destination is the journey. I just love the destination. I love traveling. I don't even like to have a lot of noise from music and podcasts, although we'll listen to them when we're a really long drive, but I just like to watch the country. So I think, because you never know what you're going to find on the journey. And that is part of our serendipity part of travel that we like. And then he asked, do you tend to camp where you want to explore? Or do you break camp, travel elsewhere?
Depends on how great the distance from A and B, where we started and where we want to explore. Because often you want to get where you want to explore so that you're ready to start off as early as you can the next day. But you just don't want to be a slave to getting someplace.
And we tend to camp in one area in a couple, 3 days, and then even if we move just a few miles down the road, we'll just move our camp with us, because there's nothing to setting it up when you boondock.
We have learned the hard way that when you get locked in, that you have to be from A to B. You don't know what kind of traffic you're going to run into. You just don't know what life's going to bring your way. So as much as possible, don't be too rigid. Now, we're leaving on a trip Tuesday, and I have no idea where I got an idea where I want to be that first night, but I don't know if I'm going to get there. And we've got lots of places that we want to go. We don't know how far we'll go. We'll just keep traveling until we think it's time to come back. And I'm going to have a real rough time keeping her from leaving tomorrow. Yeah. Well, I've got the podcast. Then we're going to be in one of those trying to drive too far and getting there at night. Yeah, I don't want to get there at night. No getting at night. You got to get there. That's something that I have to do, and we can't leave until that's done. Yeah. Do you trust the auto gen start enough to leave Bo in the RV on a hot day?
I've never had to use it, to tell you the truth. So I don't know if I trust it. I think I do, but we've never had to use it. The air, when I've been running it on the generator, it always stays on, and it's never gotten too cold, never gotten too hot. It's just been exactly what I want. So
it is really hard to trust something with your pet.
Yeah, it is. It is
really hard.
Hey, let's bring Phyllis on. Thank you, Potter Pup, for the question. And you YouTube guys got this great, but now that we're simulcasting on Facebook page, Facebook group, our supporters group on Facebook, and on Twitter, Periscope, let's talk about how you can help us know when you have a question. Hi, Phyllis. Phyllis Carr joins us. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, the YouTube people, they got this down. They know they have to type the word question in all caps and then type their question. And they know not to type their question 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times. That will eventually get to their question. So the Facebook people and the Twitter people, that's just the way we like to do things here, is just type comment or question in all caps. And then it's super easy for us to pick it out of the hundreds of comments we'll get tonight.
And that's amazing. When you're on our end and we're doing our talking, we see the comments over in the right-hand part of the screen, and it's just like they're going like this, crazy up, and it's hard for us to spot a question. And sometimes we miss some, and we apologize. We do try to take as many as we can, because this is Ask Us Anything. And we thank Phyllis so much for moderating, along with Chris. I don't know if Chris is listening. I think we just have audio, but I'm going to put him on the spot. Hey, Chris, say hi to everybody. Nope.
We got to unmute him.
There
he is.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Chris, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining in tonight. I just want to remind you to subscribe to RV Lifestyle.
Yes, thank you. Subscribe, those of you on YouTube, and then don't forget our supporters groups that we're up. And Chris and Phyllis keep everything moving right. And Chris, thanks for jumping on. And even if we only have... we'll have to get a little mystery. You know, what is that singer, the masked singer? We'll have Chris be the masked moderator. So,
there we go.
Thank you, Chris, for being there. Phyllis, thank you so much as always for keeping track of everything, and we'll catch you a little bit later on in the program. All right.
And Michael, I wanted to point out a question there.
Well, we got one right up on the screen, and then I'll get to the next one right there when you get to this one. So you want to take one from Linda Ward.
Okay. When you are boondocking, I know that you should collect your garbage. Where do you get rid of it when you leave?
Well, we do take it with us.
Yeah, you try to put it in small bags. I hope, small bags so that when you go someplace, you can discreetly get rid of it. I mean, I wouldn't want a huge, great big garbage bag.
We usually get our garbage for a day in one of those little plastic bags you get at a supermarket.
Yeah.
For your groceries.
I have not seen anything at like roadside parks that you can't dump your garbage. In the old days, they used to have signs saying you couldn't do that.
But this is just like if you had a picnic. It doesn't that much more.
But if you're boondocking, you don't know how many days you've been out there and how much trash you've got. You have a problem. You have to figure out how you can discreetly get rid of it at gas stations and roadside parks, state parks, county do you
parks.
Think places like that, gas stations?
Pilots have big places.
Do they allow you to do that?
Well, I don't know, but they have places that when you fill up with gas where you can put your trash, and so we've never had a problem getting rid of it. It's we don't scatter it on the road or anything like that, but that's good. All right, you had a question that you wanted to take, and actually it's right here.
Oh,
and I know the answer to this. You want to read it from Joe, because I just did some...
I want to go to New Mexico, but said it's closed. Do they mean national parks too? Please let me know. Thanks.
Joe, it's opening. If you are a resident of New Mexico, it's open, but you have to prove you're a resident with the driver's license. However, these are state parks, but I think if there's any national, I don't think there are any national parks in Utah where you can camp, or in New Mexico. It might be, maybe, I don't know. But state parks, you have to prove you're a resident. They have not yet opened it. Out-of-state residents in New Mexico cannot camp there yet. They're talking about in a couple of weeks, in the middle of October, but they've been talking about that ever since the pandemic started. New Mexico is the single strictest state out there in terms of where you can go. So
there's got to be an easy way to find out about
it. We just wrote about it. It's all posted on the New Mexico. Just look up State Parks New Mexico, and they'll put all the information there. But it'll be out in the newsletter that we send tomorrow. So that will be there. Hey, I see we have a super chat. See if I can bring that up. It's from Linnea. It's a super sticker. Let me see if I can find how to bring her up. There it is. Linnea with the super sticker. Thank you for that $9.99. That's like a super chat, and we do appreciate that so much. When you do a super chat, super sticker, or if you're one of our supporters on our Facebook group or one of our members on our YouTube channel, you always go to the top of the line. All right, question from Nancy.
Any tips for dry camping in winter?
First, stay dry. You don't want to be wet when it's cold. No. It's the same as everything else. Your big thing in dry camping in the wintertime is you don't have electricity. So you have to run with just your battery or your generator, and you don't want to run your generator for all night long. So you're going to tap down on your battery pretty quick, when you run the heater all night long. So give some thought to that. Make sure you know how much that fan on your RV heater is draining your battery. Usually that's a 12-volt system. It's not draining your chassis battery. So you just want to make sure it doesn't leave your engine battery, if you're in a motorhome, all the way down. So I know we dry camped. If you looked at the video we put up just yesterday of our favorite adventures, the very first one is when we dry camped, and it was 21 below Fahrenheit. And we were in northern Minnesota at a dog sled race. And we dry camped there. The RV heater worked great all night long. Now, we did have a lot of lithium batteries in that rig, but I did start twice during the middle of the night. I started the engine on the motorhome just to make sure that it was putting some juice back in the motorhome batteries, because that at 21 below zero, you can imagine that heater was working. The wind chill was 50 below, and we're not exaggerating. I think I even took a video I did and showed how cold it was. But we were snug as a bug in a rug, slept great, except, like I say, I got up twice in the middle of the night.
You were a little nervous.
And ran the engine just to keep it all charged. Facebook user. Thank you, Facebook user. If you guys want your icon to show when you log on to Facebook, it'll ask you to give permission for it to use your picture or your microphone or whatever, and then it'll show us your Facebook name as well. But thank you, Facebook user.
Okay, when camping in cold weather in our RV, how can we keep the pipes from freezing?
Well, the way you do that is you don't put anything in your pipes. And that's, I'm working, one of our next videos will be a full explaining on how to winterize your RV, with the caveat that every RV is a little bit different. You got to look at your instructions, but in general, they all do the same thing. And the first thing is you want to drain all of your tanks. And most RV service shops say you should blow out your pipes as well. Just put a little pressured air to push them out. Some people are a little nervous about that. If you're doing it yourself, you don't want to use too much pressured air because it could rip those little plastic pipes apart. But if you have access to a little pressure that you can put just to kind of push any of that water out, and then you don't put any water in. So if it freezes, there's nothing to freeze in there. What you use when you do use your toilet in the wintertime is you flush it with antifreeze. So whatever you deposit in that toilet, liquid or solid, you put an equal amount of antifreeze in and then flush that in to the system.
Now, I know all rigs are different sizes, but what's the starting point for having, somebody else do it, taking it to a shop?
It costs you about $100 to take it to a shop. And they do this, they'll do it in 10, 15 minutes. They take care of everything for you. I never go to a shop to de-winterize, because that's a real simple process. You just have to switch some valves and, fill it up with fresh water, and then you're good to go. But winterizing, I do like to take it to a shop. They are all equipped there. It's very simple. If I winterize and then go south in the winter, and then we're coming back north and I have to winterize it again, I will winterize it myself the second time. But the start of the season for us, which is right around Thanksgiving usually, because we're down south until then, I will take it to our shop. In my case, it's Holland Motorhomes in Holland, Michigan. And for $100 or so, those guys, they get it done, and it's done right. And I shot a video last year when we winterized our rig, and I will run that again in another week or so on our channel, our YouTube channel, along with an earlier one on a Class B van and a couple little do-it-yourself hints as well. So that's all coming up.
And be careful, because 1 year we froze. You know, we had icicles below our Class B.
Yeah.
So don't wait too long.
Yeah, that was really, yeah, we waited way too long and it froze up. And I had to take it into a shop when I got back into Michigan, and they just let it sit in their garage, their heated garage, for a few hours. And then it turned out fine. I hadn't blown I hadn't ripped anything apart in terms of ice in the pipes. But step one for winterizing, get rid of the ice. There's a question from Dave, get rid of the water. Yeah, empty up your tanks. Dave Flynn.
They're new camper owners and they want some ideas for making their pop-up camper awesome. Do we have any ideas?
Gosh.
To make it awesome?
Splashes of color. I sound like a designer. What are your favorite colors? A lot of people like to get the little embroidery, maybe on your pillowcases.
Maybe
stuff like
they
that.
want little lights to put someplace.
Little
they
LED
got to
lights,
figure out
rope lights,
where they might want some lights on the interior. An easy way to have some motion lights or something. If you get up and you need or feel you need some extra light.
The thing with a pop-up is you can't put too much on the wall because those walls all come down. But usually just color does a big part of it, don't you think? I'm
thinking they want some kind of gizmos and gadgets.
Gizmos and gadgets for a camper. Indoor-outdoor thermometer. That's one thing that everybody likes to have. You mount the outdoor on one end. That's the first accessory we buy every time we get a new RV. It's an indoor-outdoor thermometer. Nothing you want to know more in the morning is how cold it is or how warm it is.
And I think people out there can say maybe things that they need if they have a pop-up camper or just any type of RV.
Put it in comments.
Something that they've added that they couldn't live without.
Yep, and put it in the comment. And Dave, you can watch those comments scroll by, and I know everybody will give you a bunch. Chris Matthews with a question.
How much time is Bo off leash when you're traveling? Does he wander off?
He does not. He is really good about it. Where it says dogs must be on a leash, I keep them on a leash. For one thing, I know Bo is pretty good, but I don't know other dogs. There's a lot of people who have unsocialized dogs or dogs who are very aggressive about other dogs. And so I don't want Bo, running up to say hello to a dog that's aggressive. So whenever we're in an area where there's a lot of people, I keep him on leash. Bo comes when I call. If you really want to see a fun video, you have to go back and look at the one we did when we sent Bo to boot camp.
Yeah.
12 weeks of obedience school.
It was 7.
7.
Just seemed like 12. You
7
missed
weeks.
You missed him. To Bo, it seemed like 2 years.
Yeah. And he came back with 16 commands that he knows, and he still is pretty good. We take him to an off-leash dog park every day.
He gets 1 hour.
Every day.
1
Rain,
hour.
shine, snow, whatever, we go. And we've actually come to enjoy that. That's our special quality time too.
Yeah.
As well as Bo's.
And
he comes. Whenever I call, he's really good about coming.
And then if you were really in a remote area, you have to think about
Bears,
animals that could perhaps hurt him. But something about elk hounds. This is our 4th elk hound. And they don't want to be left.
Kind of like Goldens. Goldens, you don't lose the people.
You don't lose.
Golden
you don't
retrievers.
lose. But elk hounds, they do. It's a nice place to visit, but they don't want to be left there.
Yeah.
They keep a sharp eye on the rig.
But I will take him off leash if I'm hiking an area that I know. Now we're going to do some boondocking all this week in some pretty wild country. In fact, an area of Michigan they call the Big Wild. The Big Wild.
And he will be on a leash.
And he will be on a leash. In that area, there's it's particularly a busy time right now because there's a lot of elk, and the elk are in their rather mating. They're very busy doing elk stuff. And in fact, to get him used to it, I was playing elk bugling sounds today because where we're going to hear elk bugling.
How's he doing with the owl sounds?
Oh, he's good now as long as he's out there with me. And he listens to so he'll at least be familiar with that sound that you hear where we're going. We'll be doing a video on all of this. Dr. CHH.
Okay, how normal is traveling with a pandemic upon us? It's not normal.
Yeah, it is and it isn't. I mean, it is in the sense that you're driving and gas stations are open and restaurants and supermarkets. You still have to wear a mask. You still have to. I don't know if I showed everybody this mask.
I don't think you
I
have. You
haven't
haven't
shown
worn
it.
that yet.
Have you seen this mask? Can you see it? This is the RV lifestyle is social distancing. What did I do here?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I did something wrong. Bumped into you. But anyway, most places are open unless you're going to New Mexico. That's still pretty closed up.
It isn't normal with the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, how can we pretend it
I
is?
mean,
It's,
like we really don't go to restaurants anymore
No.
and eat inside.
we used to love that. That was part of the fun of particularly traveling. But
Yeah, I mean, we have changed a lot of things.
yeah, and you will too. But it's probably the most normal activity that I think you can
That's
do.
out there these days.
Yeah. So, in particular, if you're in an RV, as we say, it is social distancing. We tend, even when things are normal, if that'll ever happen again, we tend to boondock, stay away from a lot of people because that's what we like. We like the wilderness. So for us, that doesn't change. Where we notice is when we go into town and, putting on the mask every time you go. But that's what they all say we should do. So, we're good. We're good with that.
And then perhaps not as many places open that you can stay, or it has, not everything is opened up 100%.
Have you seen the new Fit RV generator challenge? Olin has new one that's quiet. I haven't. We use our generators so seldom that it doesn't make much difference to us. It's just not a big, I'm glad I have one, but we very seldom need a generator. We have lithium batteries, and that's a big plus. And so, I'm going to actually keep track of how much as we go north into the UP of Michigan in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to keep track of how many times we even turn the generator on, and then it might become a factor. Hector Rodriguez.
Do you have an update on your Midland radio? I am talking about the one you mounted permanently on your dash. Do you still use it, or did you give up?
I gave up. I took it out. In fact, it reminds me I got to go take the antenna off the roof tomorrow. After a month and a half of that thing and leaving it on and traveling, there just is nothing out there. We don't travel in a caravan. So if we did, that would be a nice thing to have because it would have a little extra range and you can actually turn it into a repeater mode and some other things. But we don't travel in a caravan. We travel alone, and it just wasn't. It didn't do anything. So I'm either going to put my ham radio back in, or I'm still thinking about getting a CB radio, which even though it has limited range, it is useful when you're in a traffic jam and you want to find out how long it's lasting. So I took that Midland radio out. I do like the little walkie-talkies. We use those. But the one I mounted permanently is not permanent anymore. It's gone.
So a lot of people still use the CB radios.
Well, no, more truck drivers do. And how many times have we been in a traffic jam where we've said, oh man, how long is this thing going to last? And so, we kind of wait. Hey, we got a super chat up there, I see too. So how long is that going to last? That traffic jam. And if you had a CB radio, you would at least be able to listen. Enough truck drivers still use CB radio that you'd hear something. But my ham radio is pretty useless on the road. There really isn't anybody using any of those channels. And the GM RS system that I tried from Midland, nobody's using those on the road. And maybe someday somebody will, but they aren't now. So that leaves me really, the best thing I'm going to probably do is eventually install a small little CB radio. So this is from, I think it's IJ RV Journey. And I like their little logo. Kindness is so gangster. Okay. $4.99 super chat.
And this question, I know you spoke about winterizing, but I guess I didn't catch the end of it. Is there a certain weather degree level we should
Yeah. That's a great question.
Very good.
Here's how it's explained to me, and here's how we have followed it all of our trip. If the temperature drops, say to 32, like we had it was 31 degrees when I woke up yesterday morning in Michigan here, but that didn't last long. If it gets significantly below 30, say like 28, and it stays that way for several hours, then you want to be thinking, I need some antifreeze in there. The general rule is if it's cold enough that a mud puddle freezes over, that's telling you that your tanks probably are getting close to that point. Now, your tanks and your pipes underneath your RV are up off the ground. They're covered and around in the front, so they're not going to freeze quite as fast as that mud puddle that's out in the open will. But when you see a mud puddle start to freeze, that means you should have antifreeze. We will routinely, in the next week or so, if the forecasts are correct, have temperatures approaching 32 degrees Fahrenheit or freezing as we're in the UP. I'm not touching, there's no antifreeze in ours. It's still, we'll be taking showers. We're using the plumbing system. I don't usually winterize until just before Thanksgiving. Now, that said, usually the first 2 or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, we're down in Florida or someplace along the Gulf Coast, and we expect to, hopefully, we'll be doing that again this year. But hope that answered your question. Here's one from Sally Bundison.
Did your condo sustain much hurricane damage in Florida? Hope not. We did have damage, but we were lucky to have a good neighbor who helped us out. Well, we were called by the management people.
The condo management
people, because we had water dripping from our unit down below to the unit below us. But above us, water started dripping, and so we have a couple walls and a ceiling in our living room that got damaged. But if somebody hadn't had poor window installation, we would have been fine.
That was from up above.
Above us, and then it just dripped down. So we got to get down there and figure it out.
Here's a Facebook user with a question, or a comment, actually.
Back in Florida from a 4,500-mile trip through 7 states, much of the time using your Michigan UP guide, and one glorious night at a Harvest Host winery in Ohio. Sounds like fun.
No, that was. I'm so glad you used our UP guide. We will be using it ourselves. You can find all of our travel guides. Thank you for that question. Let me lead right into that little commercial. Just go into rvlifestyle.com/books. And in fact, I don't know if you were hearing the little beeps that came across. Those are little alerts on my phone that somebody just bought one of our books. And often I'll take a little note and I'll send them a little thank you for that. So that's pretty good. I'm going to come back to Chris's question, but while we had that Facebook thing, I want to just give you guys a quick idea here of a couple other things. One, we initiated this a week or so ago. It was a full launch. I just want to let everybody know we have 2 ways that we can move towards being more community supported. And we have some great advertisers on our podcast, but we don't want to be looking for more advertisers and more corporate stuff. As we keep producing all this, and with the help that we've got, so we can give you new content every day on the blog and videos twice a week and the books and all the rest of that stuff, we're trying to go to community support, which means you. And if you would like to support us, you get some perks. You can do it on Facebook by just going to rvlifestyle.com/FB supporters. And those of you on YouTube, there's a way you can do the same thing on YouTube, which is YT supporters. It's rvlifestyle.com. Now, those guys, I mean, one of the perks they all got was just tonight. We do, as you know, in our podcast, we do pretty good interviews of the week with people who are involved in various parts of the RV lifestyle. And we have a great one coming up on Wednesday's podcast. We have an interview with Cherie and Chris from Technomania, and it's really on the best internet system for RVs, what they need, what the new changes are, how not to get ripped off with people like various resellers that can cause you issues, how to watch out for that. Anyway, they all got access to that interview early. They got it today. It'll come out on Wednesday on the podcast. It'll be an audio interview on the podcast, but they got the video version of it. We always do a video version of it, and they got that today. So that's one of the perks. Plus, we jump in with some special stuff, and it's all that. So anyway, YouTube supporters, it's just YT supporters with RV Lifestyle. And if you want to if you find value in what we do and could help us, we're not going to change. We'll keep giving everything the same as we always do. This is just a little extra. And if you would just go to YouTube or Facebook, either one.
Tongue-tied.
FB supporters or YT supporters. All right, enough of that. So I'm glad we got that taken care of. Here's a question from Chris Hellman.
Okay, finally found the right Class C, 31 feet, Chevy Coachman. 1 more month closing up the house and going to try full timing, ready to chase the sun. We'll keep an eye out for you.
Oh, that's great. So you said Chevy Coachman. I think that you mean is it the Coachman? Or maybe that's a picture of it right there. No, that's not it. That's not it. That looks like, well, I can't tell from your thing. Maybe it is.
I don't think so.
Anyway, 31 feet, Class C. That's a big guy. And that is awesome, Chris. 1 more month and you go full time. Well, I'll be anxious to follow that. That's awesome. Dean Johnson.
We're visiting the Moab, Utah area in October. Any must-sees in only 5 days?
Oh,
Woo!
man, you need our Utah book. Dean, we've got a book on Utah. Just go to our books page, and there it is right there. And look at our 7-day adventure guide to Utah.
It's only got 5 days.
Well, you can move around pretty fast, and you do 5 of our stops. Utah is just a great state. There are so many national parks. You can visit a couple of them each day. And we put together a 7-day adventure guide, but you can speed it up, and lots of stuff in Utah, lots of stuff in Moab. Just go to that address right there. Our books are like $7. So, I mean, it's a steal, and it'll save you time. It will save you so much time. We'll tell you where you can stay, what to see, where to go, what route to take that's most efficient. And those are all in our 7-day adventure guides, and you can find them at rvlifestyle.com/books. So if you're in Moab, the first place you're going to go is Arches. And then I'll just give you one little thing. It's in the book. My favorite park in all of Utah is a state park, and it's Dead Horse Canyon State Park. Go check that out. Unbelievable views and a great place to stay. So you'll have fun with that. Chip has a question.
Why did you get rid of your Unity FX? Did you not like it?
Loved it.
We really
Miss it
did
even
love
a
it.
little bit. There's lots we miss about it. Chip, we've written about this on the blog extensively. There's a big post on the blog. I think it was like 11 reasons why we got rid of the Unity and went with a different chassis, because we wanted to experience the Ford Transit. So I urge you to go and check that out. Also, we have 2 videos up on our new RV, and we also talk about it there. But all those reasons, we want to know what the Ford Transit's like. We wanted the rear beds. We wanted a gas version.
We wanted the storage.
Extra storage.
There's the garage under what we have. And no unit is 100% perfect. You always give up something to get something else.
We did. Yep.
So,
yep.
But we absolutely love that Unity FX.
Yep, we did. And that's still probably our gold standard of all the RVs we've had. We love the new one, but we do miss a couple things like the room.
Like the air conditioning.
The air conditioning and some of the other things on that Unity. So, but we'd like to try as many different RVs as we can so that we can answer these questions with some experience. And so many people have been interested in that Ford Transit RV, and especially the new changes they made. We felt that we really needed to buy one and be in it ourselves. And we did buy that, by the way. Hector.
When taking your RV to storage, do you empty the water in the water filter canister or leave the water in it?
Always.
Empty.
We empty it. We take it out.
Everything.
We unscrew that. We empty it. And then the water filter canister, we replace those every season. Some RVers I know actually replace them twice a season. But so, you need a little tool to get it. I don't know. Every RV is different. Ours is in the bathroom under the sink, and you need a little tool to unscrew it. But we take that off and we take it out. And when we pick it up if we don't keep our RV in storage, but when we winterize it, we do that, and you should do the same when you put yours in storage. So remove it, and then they're not that expensive, and replace it.
Water is not your friend when it freezes.
No. Mickey Howell.
I need advice on keeping the bugs away from getting indoors when I need to come in and out. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
You gotta move
fast.
quick.
Move fast. Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Whoa.
You know, they come in.
Only once were the mosquitoes so bad. We were parked deep in the woods looking to hear wolves. And
yeah, Michigan. Yeah.
the mosquitoes were so bad that we had to leave our campsite because we had shut everything we could shut and the mosquitoes were still getting in. And we got a hotel room and our dog then hated bugs.
Hated
the dog
it.
before Bo.
Was the dog
And
before
we
Bo.
got to the hotel room and he just was like, I didn't think you guys were ever going to catch on that we needed a room.
And it was such a great spot,
It
too.
was beautiful.
There were wolves in the area. We wanted to hear them, record them, and all that stuff. I don't know how all these mosquitoes got in, but they were they were big mosquitoes, and they were biting.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Once we had to leave. Everything else.
Art Daniels.
Jen, how do you do dishes in a single sink? You can get a little pan or use a pot that you cooked in to wash and then rinse. And if you just, how many dishes do you have? How many did you dirty? But I often will use a pan. I don't want to carry a dish pan. So I'll use a pan and then rinse and kind of keep up as I go. We don't have any dishes because it's just the two of us. I like to use plates rather than paper plates because, I don't want to do all the paper waste.
I'm going to even have a candlelight dinner this trip. Rosemary Hine has a question.
I am trying to take better pictures with my phone. Now reconsidering an independent camera. Which one do you recommend?
Well, I'll tell you something, Rosemary. I have probably 15 cameras. I don't think I'm exaggerating.
No.
And they're all over the house. I travel with, I'm not counting my GoPros. For a beginner. Probably this phone, my iPhone, takes, hands down, this is the iPhone 11, you see the big camera thing, takes the best quality photos of any of my cameras. I have $5,000 cameras with lenses and all that stuff, but honest, this thing takes the best camera, the best photos. Now that said, it doesn't have quite the zoom, but it is so spectacular.
Well, now she's got her phone, but she's kind of thinking about an entry-level camera.
This is a great little video camera that I have. This is the Canon, and it is the EOS M50. EOS M50, and this is this lens, a wider. It's a kit lens, but it's a small little zoom. I think it's 11 to 22 millimeter zoom, so it's helpful. I use it for all of our video.
What did it cost?
It cost, I think, $799, $800.
I don't think most people
they're going to be making
if
you want an independent camera that's better than your cell phone or does more than you can spend that much money. That's pretty inexpensive for a good camera. This, by the way, is a windshield. We call it the dead cat. I don't. That's what its real name is.
That's what its real name is.
Actually, this
because
is the dead,
dogs are very curious about it.
This is the dead kitten. This is the dead cat. See, it's bigger. This is my latest camera, and this is the Canon R. These are both mirrorless cameras, and they're both full frame cameras. And I'm probably getting way too geeky for you. Those are the two main video cameras. I also have. You can't beat the new little GoPro, the Hero 8. It has especially some of the kit things that it has with it, like a new built-in shotgun mic. And it's got a new flip screen that you can see for selfies. We use that. So you have lots to go on. But
I think that little camera, the little GoPro, maybe that's what she wants.
Well,
it's small.
That's not really, it's more of they call those an action camera because you strap them on your head or stuff. But the quality is just spectacular on those for stills. But if you're looking for a still camera, I want to say that M50 is a pretty good way to go. And you also can do really good video on it. But I do so much more with this iPhone than I ever thought possible. Mary Kent.
What rig would you suggest for a first-timer solo female senior?
Oh, my gosh. Probably a Class B. A Class B motorhome.
And smaller, shorter in length? That's what I would say. Shorter in length.
The ones that kind of attract my attention and that I hear so much, it's called the Short Sprinter. It's 19 feet long. The normal Sprinter Class B is about 23 feet long, almost 23. So this is considerably shorter. It's perfect for a solo traveler, even if you have a pet or a dog or something with you, or a cat, you're fine with that. It's 11 feet long, so it's really, or it's 19 feet long. I'm sorry, 19 feet long. Where did I get 11? I don't know. 19 feet long versus 23 feet for the and then there's even an extended Sprinter, which is for 24. So I'd say look at that. The Road Trek SS is one that's pretty small. Coachman makes a smaller one. I can't remember the brand name on that 19-foot chassis. That's what I'd recommend, a Class B with that 19-foot chassis. If it's your first time ever.
And then the next question is, are you comfortable driving something larger? You've got to figure out. My first suggestion would be short as possible. I mean, if I were by myself,
you'd get the 19.
I would want the 19-foot because I wouldn't want something real big because I want to go to easily park it in different parking spots. Where are you going to be going? Are you going out in the middle of nowhere, or do you want to go into cities? You've got family you want to go visit. How big of a rig are you comfortable? How much room do you think you need? But if it were me, I would go the smaller, shorter.
There we go. Somebody bought a book, and it was and somebody bought my Utah book, so that was good. I just was talking about it. So I hope that helped to answer the question. Go try them out if you can. Unfortunately, there's no RV shows because of the pandemic, but you can go to dealers and ask them to drive one. You want to make sure you're comfortable driving it. Facebook user.
Who travels with a cat and how is it? A lot of people travel with cats
and they
don't have any problem. It's just like a cat or a dog. Some dogs hate traveling in RVs. Most dogs like it. And I'm sure that most cats like it, but I'm sure there's one or two that don't.
There's a popular YouTube channel by a guy named Eric, who's known as the Nomadic Fanatic. And he travels with a big cat, huge cat, Tennessee. I forget the name of the cat, but it's a big cat, Jax. And Jax is in, just like Bo is in every one of our videos, his cat Jax is in every one of his. And you can look there. But lots of people travel with the cat, and they do great. Another Facebook user with a question.
The Ohio Turnpike Service Plaza have great electric hookups. They do fresh water and an RV dump station, all for $20. Have you ever used this for a quick overnight stay? Wish all turnpikes offer this service. I do too. I wish they all offered it.
Yes, we've used it. In fact, we have a video on it. We did a video on it. It's on the YouTube channel. If you head over to youtube.com/RV lifestyle and do a search, and you'll find it. But we did a video spending the night at one of the Ohio Turnpike plazas. How many were there? I think there was like 9 of them.
Yeah, there's not a lot of them.
And it is so nice. They're really nice spots, and they do have electricity. So in the hot weather, and they're far enough. The Turnpike has these big service plazas. So you're far enough back. There's not a lot of noise, and we do like them, and we have stayed there.
It's great.
Wish that would spread nationwide.
I wish it would too, because a lot of places are $35, $40, $50 a night. So it's a great deal.
Yep. Stephen Ryan.
Hello, guys. I just bought 2 e-bikes and carrier. I would ask, what locking system do you use?
I thought they sent me a lock, but I guess they didn't. I just bought a big lock that I can wrap around both bikes. And if it's on the carrier on the back, I can wrap it around the carrier as well. I mean, these bikes each weigh 60 pounds. So it's a pretty big operation to take them and go off with them, because they weigh a lot.
Somebody will do it.
Somebody's a lot. Yeah, but I've just bought a lock. I don't know what, probably Walmart. I bought a big long, cable lock. And I didn't get a keyed lock. I have a padlock on it with a password on it, with my own little code. Yeah, get a good lock. Those things are expensive.
Because they're expensive.
Brenda Swindle from YouTube.
Have a 2015 CS Adventurous. How do I get the most out of my fridge and freezer when boondocking? Never seems to keep things as cold as they should be. The ice thaws and the butter is soft. That's not good.
No, you've got an issue with that.
You got a problem.
Yeah.
Get a little thermometer that you put inside so that you can check and see what the temperature is, because you don't want to get food poisoning or something.
I have in ours, I have a little, like those little things you take your temperature with. There's a little one that's an industrial size version. I think you can get them at Home Depot. And I actually went in and I can check. I just pointed inside the refrigerator and the freezer, and I just did that with ours. And the freezer was 3 degrees, and the refrigerator was, what did I say it was? 38 degrees, I think
I
it
don't
was.
know, but this isn't
38,
good.
yeah.
If your ice,
So, yeah, if
not
your
making
ice-
ice and the
ice
butter's
is soft,
soft, it's not working right.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a vent that's clogged. If it's a propane, if you have propane on your RV, spiders, they love the smell of propane. Sometimes they'll build nests. Look in the propane regulator valve. If you ever smell natural gas when you're out walking around your RV, that's a sign also that the regulator valve may not be working right. I would take it to an RV shop and say, hey, can you just check this out, make sure my propane connection's okay? And
It's 5 years old.
yeah, it's 5 years old. So, you know, you may need a new regulator. They're not that expensive. They're very easy to put on, but you should have a little bit better than that. Potter Pup.
Do you two ever have bad days together? Need some space? We had a Canadian cross-country train trip and had to get over it fast.
Do you ever have bad days with each other on the road?
Well, I think one day that was bad for me was when we were camping in Florida and it rained and you were working videos.
Oh,
and
yeah,
in that
yeah.
tiny space with you making all that noise, and I had cabin fever because I don't normally sit. I am usually moving.
We were at the Ho Hum Park, one of our favorite parks in Florida, on the beach in a little, it's called the Forgotten Coast, the old Florida, they call it, along the, other people call it the armpit of Florida. And
you
it was
were
pouring
absolutely
rain.
Thrilled because you had your computer, you had stuff to edit.
I couldn't go
I
anywhere.
guess you didn't have your headsets.
I had these, and these are all working now. That's how we're here in Phyllis and everybody when we talk, and I didn't put them on for some reason.
Yeah, about drove me crazy.
So I was driving her crazy, and I mean it was pouring rain the whole day, and I looked at it. This is great. I can get my work caught up on. And I was looking out at the ocean or at the Gulf, and it was great. And Jen was going, you know.
Yeah, I hadn't.
But you were pretty nice. We went out
I was crazy. In
the rain cleared. Here's the good news, and this is what you always have to remember: the rain went away. The next day was beautiful. We had an awesome day. We went to Apalachicola and did some exploring.
Yeah, we had fun.
Had some clams and some.
That was when I wished we had a car, because if we had a car, I would have been. Been exploring.
Yeah.
On my own.
JP Pony has a question.
Okay, this is Ann Bow question. We'll be in Florida for Valentine's Day. If yes, we would like to invite you to an awesome road rally. Just an afternoon and then dinner and dancing. Wow, does that ever sound like fun?
Yeah, I don't know where we'll be
I don't know where we'll be in February.
We will probably be somewhere warm. So Florida is usually a good bet for us. So keep in touch. We love that.
Yeah, we would. I think that would be great fun.
In fact, we love doing gatherings and meeting up with people on the road. In fact, the next couple of weeks while we're up in the UP, those of you who are members of our Facebook group who've joined a membership there or have joined our supporters group on YouTube, I'm going to let you know a couple of places we are. And if anybody is up in the UP in that area, we can get together for a little meet and greet. That's always fun to do when we travel. But we'll let you know. I don't know where we'll be. There is one of our Facebook members and supporters, Andrew Larimore.
Okay, we're thinking of meeting our daughter. She's in Ohio and Michigan next summer for vacation. What's the time of year to avoid the bugs in the Upper Peninsula?
Summer. Summer. They're worse from, June. June is,
4th of July flies.
4th of July. It doesn't really start to ease up until August. And even then, if it's warm, they'll go a little bit longer. So, Andrew, the best time in our book to visit is right now. That's why we're heading up. It's peak color up there next week. And
but they're going next summer with your daughter.
So if you're going to go to the UP, it's kind of, thank you. You guys are all buying our books. Thank you.
We quit going to the UP in summer.
We did. That's how bad they are. We love the UP. So.
Yeah, you got that one video of the Porcupine Mountains where
it's the black fly dance. Yeah.
Yeah, our poor dog. The last dog got stung by a bee.
Go to YouTube and do the search button and search for the black fly dance, FLY, black fly dance, or search UP for our videos on our channel. You have to look on our channel because you'll never, you might find it elsewhere, but go to our channel and hit the search button and take a look at that and know that that was shot around the 4th of July. So that'll give you an idea that you don't want to be there in June and much of July. The bugs are pretty bad. First, it's the mosquitoes, then it's the flies. And there's two kinds of flies, black flies and stable flies. And they both bite, and they are nasty little buggers.
Which one's worse? I don't remember. Yeah. Oh, Facebook user. Do you have any new guides coming out?
Yeah, I wish we could move it on a little bit faster, but we are. We're working on one for Arizona that will be coming out. And then we'll bundle that with our Colorado guide and with our Utah guide. And that way we'll have a whole 3 states, all in a little area that you can easily go to.
You're just sleeping too much.
Not much. We're working every day. But we're working. We've got that about maybe half done right now. And that's coming out Arizona. We hope to get it out for the snowbirds.
And then
HD lowrider. I like that.
Where do you put your shoes in your Class B? We have
Beyond. That's the Coachman Beyond. Yep.
And struggling with shoes. Ugh. Yeah, shoes really can become a problem where you store them. We have just a little spot when you come in, and Mike's lucky because usually I wear tennis shoes all the time. I have orthotics, and I have to have my orthotics in whatever shoes I wear. So my hiking shoes and tennis shoes, and I don't take a lot of shoes. I'm not coordinated.
Now in our new unit, it's a little easier because we have this in our new unit. Now we have all this extra room with the garage,
right?
And it has lots of inside space that's very deep. So we could put shoes in there. We could put them outside in the garage. In our other Bs, Jennifer, shoes were everywhere.
We didn't have room
for
shoes, but that's half of the attraction with this garage. Was
one of the reasons we got it. Now, what a lot of people do is they buy one of those shoe bags and they hang it on the back of their bathroom door. They have little hooks you can hang on the back, and then they will either use some Velcro or somehow stick it on the bottom so it's not flopping around. And then you can put your shoes in little holsters like on that bag. And
that's where the solo women, they have all kinds of contraptions that they've rigged up
for their shoes.
Their shoes. I don't know how you would direct people to some of our solo women, how they
I'm working on a post on it about solo RVing, and you've done
how they store everything.
Yeah, we've shown this in some of our videos. So I don't remember which ones, but I know we have shown it. So shoes.
You're lucky they don't have a million shoes.
Shuri.
Okay. What does the Arctic package mean on a travel trailer?
Don't know what brand you're talking about, but they're trying to make it sound like it's 4-season. I just had a blog post about 4-season RVs, and there's only a couple of them out there. And that's what they're basically saying. These are pipes that are insulated, but even then, they can't go, I think they rate them down to like 15 degrees, which is cold and probably usable in most places, but I would not trust one unless it's rated well below 0. So it means that it will do better in cold weather. And I don't know what brand that is, and I'd have to look at it. But look at a lot of them will say, 4 seasons capable. Well, that doesn't mean much. They'll say, Arctic package insulated, and all that's good. It means it usually has a little more insulation for the cold. And I just wrote a story about it a month ago on our blog, rvlifestyle.com, and I think the Arctic package is on one of the better travel trailer manufacturers, and I can't remember the name. I think they make them in Oregon, but I can't remember everything.
Yeah, there is a trailer
remember,
in Oregon.
The Adventurous Way couple that we
profiled. They had a trailer that was awesome.
If I could pull up another screen, I'd get you the URL, but it's on rvlifestyle.com, and just search for 4-season RVs.
Yeah, that was one that was you could use in the cold weather.
I think it starts with the word north, if I'm not mistaken, but I'd have to look at. Matthias Lara.
Do you see many veterans living the RV lifestyle, and what age group? We don't know.
So many people are veterans. I would say 50% of all the RVers have served in the military at one point or another. At least the guys, the men we've seen, many of the women. Young veterans, we have not run into any that I can tell you. Most are, people don't say I'm a veteran. There's no sign on them. So just as in society, many people are veterans. Sharon.
Does the garage easily store an e-bike in your current unit? And do you have a ramp and a slide tray to help load?
Well, your question easily, I'd say no. But does it store it? Yes, it does. One of them. You have to take the front wheel off. You got to take the steering wheels loose and just kind of turn to the side. And then you have to kind of finagle it in. It has a slide tray that comes out. Doesn't have a ramp. You have to lift it up and put it in. And then you kind of have to twist it around, but you can get it in there, and there is room for one. And then we can put the other one on a rack and on our hitch in the back, which has a rating of about 200 pounds. So with the rack and the bike, that takes it to about 120 pounds on that hitch. So that's the maximum for that. But we can get them. It's just kind of a pain to take the wheel off and then to adjust the handlebars, take the seat off. You got to do that too. But yes, it'll go in.
And if they wanted to get a collapsible
bikes would be much easier. I think if we had collapsible bikes, I think we could get 2 of them in there. I do.
But I don't think we're going to do that.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
From Lola, and it's another female traveler.
Okay, so we've got a female solo with a small dog. Purchased a 2021
Ford
front twin bed Wonder. 2 questions. Don't recall, but does it come with no auto leveling system?
You have to buy that extra. That's what we did. We had it put on extra.
Yeah.
$4,000. $4,000 for that.
Want to install some type of small storage container on the rig. Any suggestions for what type and where is the best place to purchase it?
There's only, I have a big review on that on RV Lifestyle as well. Stowaway 2 is probably the most reasonably priced storage unit that you could mount on the back of your Wonder there. So it's Stowaway 2, all one words. And if you look on the RVLifestyle.com blog, we've got a thing about RV cargo carriers. There's a whole blog post that we did not long ago about that kind of rates them all for you. So you can check that out. But levelers, you can get them put in, but they don't do them at the factory. Okay. J Larms 3.
Okay, bugs in the UP. Try dealing with the love bugs in Texas and Louisiana when they swarm. I'm sure our bugs and insects and everything aren't as bad here as other places. Remember we were in South Dakota and the bugs, It was like raining out.
We were videoing that. It was like
snow.
A storm. It was like a blizzard of bugs.
A bug storm.
But the difference is your love bugs don't bite and rip your flesh off. These black stable flies, they rip your flesh off. I mean, they're meat eaters. They're vicious things. So love bugs, they're just messy, but I'll take love bugs over biting black flies. And Michigan Upper Peninsula mosquitoes are the size of small helicopters.
Well, probably Alaska could probably.
Yeah. Alaska too.
Yeah. And then, like I say, the only natural predators they have to deal with is the front of your windshield. Literally, was it South Dakota?
South Dakota.
Pull over,
every year we go down there.
Pull over and try to get our windshield clean. We could not see anything.
It sounded like you were in a hailstorm.
I said it's like being in a whiteout, except it's a bug out.
A bug out. That's what we called it, actually, in our video we did. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Yeah.
They bug me. All right. Well, we have gone through a lot of questions, and it has been really fun being with you guys. It's all 8 o'clock already. I don't know how fast time, man, it just flies. I just want to remind you of a couple of things. If you all would remember this, please help us to spread the word about our supporters group on YouTube and our supporters group on Facebook. It's just a way for you to get some of the extra stuff that we do. We would really appreciate anything you guys can do to help with that. That is awesome. Newsletter coming out tomorrow. We got lots of information. We got information about camping in New Mexico that just came through this weekend. The podcast is coming up on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about. What'd you say?
I started to say Tuesday because we make it on Tuesday. It comes out Wednesday.
Comes out Wednesday. The podcast is all about finding the best internet system for your RV. And it's changing every couple of weeks. It's changing. So We've got the top experts on that talking about it. It'll be a very interesting interview if you're interested in making sure you have good internet. Thanks to Phyllis. Let's just check in with her and have her say goodbye. Hi, Phyllis.
Hi,
Alice.
Yeah, it was a great night. A couple of people said I missed their questions, and I'm hunting for them quickly here, but I'm not seeing it. I see comments, but I don't see the question. So I'm sorry if we missed anything. You can always come to the group and ask, or, just come over to the page on Facebook or anywhere and ask the question there.
Yep. And as I said at the beginning, we got one up there now. I got to find that. Take that one off. I can't see you there.
Oh.
There we go. How do we? Oh, well, there we go. Now I can see it. So, and I'm sorry. Sometimes we do miss stuff. It's just really hard to get everybody. They go pretty fast and furious. Also, thanks to Chris Cowley, if he's still there. Chris and Phyllis keeping everything moving right. Hi, Chris. Thanks for being there tonight. We really appreciate it. Okay, Chris.
No problem, everyone. Thanks for joining in, everyone.
All right. Always good to have you guys. And we couldn't do all this without you. Phyllis, have yourself a great week. We'll see you on social media.
All right. See you there.
All right. And for all of you, thank you so much for being a part of Ask Us Anything. Again, these just go so very fast. It's just hard to keep up with them at how fast they really go. But it's been great having you with us. So we're going up to UP. Supporters on Facebook and on YouTube will be sending you little videos and texts about where we are. We'll let you know what's going on. All the rest of you will also be updating Instagram and having a lot of fun that way. New blog posts, lots of great stuff coming for you at rvlifestyle.com this week. You all be safe wherever you are. Have a great time. And thanks for being with us on this Sunday night.
Happy trails.